live. I was muted, but I am no longer muted anymore. Welcome, everyone. It's Monday. We're live. It's the 5ers live trading room. I was waiting for Dirk Hartig to get on here, and then we're going to get Alex coming on a little bit later in the live stream as well. Hope you guys are doing amazing. Check out the background. Check out the background. You guys asked for it. I'm getting so many DMs on Twitter asking when, like, it's Black Friday. Like, where's the Black Friday deals? Well, you guys been asking for this. You guys been asking for this and waiting for this. As you can see, we got the 10K high stakes account for only $68 during this Black Friday. Regular price is $78. And everyone that buys any account with the 5ers during this Black Friday celebration deal will enter into a raffle. They will all enter into a raffle for all the programs, and we're going to be talking about the specific of what that actually means in just a bit. Guys, let me know what you've been doing over the weekend. Hopefully you had a good, relaxing weekend, and hopefully you didn't trade crypto, but I know that some of you probably did. We got some insane moves in the crypto market. While we are, of course, going to be looking at the Forex market as well, do a general macro overview of the market, we are going to be slightly focused on Bitcoin today because we have been getting a lot of questions on Bitcoin. You guys are wondering, is it a good buy now? Should I be selling my bag? Are we going to hit 100K? What does this mean for Bitcoin? What does it mean for the altcoin market? All of that. Of course. Musad Hamed, we got John and Michael, Xavier, lots of familiar faces. Awesome to have you guys all in here. Right, we got Dirk coming in shortly. What's up, Alex? Hope you guys are where you guys are from. Let me know in the comments where you're all from. Would be curious to know. I do know that we have a very big community here from all around the world. So let me talk a little bit about the Black Friday deal that we got right here. So we are introducing, like I said, the 10K high stakes account with a discount. So right now you can get the 10K high stakes account for $68, which is the regular price is $78. And this is a really great opportunity to really join the high stakes program at a unbeatable rate, only $68. And everyone who buys an account during this promotion will automatically enter into a raffle, a giveaway, where we're giving away not 5, but 50 exciting prizes, which includes we're giving away 10 TradingView subscriptions, 10 Trader Sync subscriptions, and we're also giving away hub credits, as well as, wait for it, we're going to do a little drum roll here. That's right, merchandise. That's right, guys. It's coming. The merchandise are coming. And we're also going to give away 10 Amazon gift cards. Okay, so the raffle draft will take place on Tuesday, December the 3rd. So make sure that you don't miss that. This goes for everyone that buys any account during this promotion, the duration of this promotion. Now, the high stakes program does have the same parameters as the other accounts. The only difference is that the reward after step 1, which is a 10 hub credit. All right, we got Dirk in the background right there. Right, and we're also, for the duration of this promotion, we're also increasing the maximum account purchase limit to 4 accounts. Now, after the promotion ends, we'll return to the standard 3 account limit. Now, how this limit works is that traders can purchase one 60K or 100K account. Traders can also purchase 2 out of 3 options, 5K, 10K, and the 20K accounts. So this is really a perfect opportunity to get into the high stakes trading program at a very affordable cost. Alex says hoodie, perhaps a hoodie, perhaps a hoodie. Dirk, how's it going, man? Welcome.
Hey, how's everybody doing? Thanks for having me today. I'm good. Let me just move.
You had to run to the office. I sent Dirk the link to join, and
no. I was already in the office. Of course, I was like busy doing some back testing here, and then I don't know. See, that is how long it has been since I last joined a live stream here on the 5ers. Somehow in my mind, I was like, it's starting like in 1 hour. You slowly should get ready. And when you sent me the link, I was like, oh.
Yeah, it happens. Well, I'm really, really happy to have you back on here, and I know the audience is very happy to have you back as well. Now, we said that we're going to be talking mostly about Bitcoin and crypto in this live stream right here, but of course, we're going to be having a focus on the macroeconomics of the general market as well, looking at the Forex market. There's some interesting developments over the weekend. The Trump is I think it's decided now that he's appointing is it I think it's Bennett I think it's called Bennett, the new US Treasury Secretary. And
is it? I one completely got by me.
No, I think that's why why we have the gap. I think that is one of the reasons why we had the big gap this over the weekend gap. So we can look at your USD. We had a big gap this right here. We had a 60 pip gap to the upside. It did not get filled. We did start trading lower, but it did not get filled, and it looks like we are now continuing higher. And what happened here is that it kind of changed the overall structure, because we did see, if we look at the dollar currency index here, we're seeing that some weakness are coming in. This is the move to the downside that we had based on this new news on the dollar currency index. So what I did was I actually closed my most of my positions except the S&P 500 long. So I had a long position open, a short position open on EURUSD. I closed that one. Had a short position on GBP CAD as well, closed that one as well. And then I had a long position on USD CHF, which I closed as well, because we are now seeing that I believe that the market might be pricing in that Bennett is pro bonds. And
For
so
sure,
he might be...
It's also a good example, sometimes how if you like only rely completely for long-term setups on technical analysis, how fundamental things can catch up to you. I'm pretty sure we're going to close the gap there eventually, but of course, if you like massively positioned into the so-called wrong side here over the weekend, this was a nasty surprise for sure for many traders here. That's the benefits of the crypto markets, being traded 24/7, 365 days.
Yeah, that's actually a lot of people talk about the crypto being 24/7 as something negative, but it's actually quite positive, because you can, there's no weekend gap risk. There's no weekend risk at all. Like you can, if you see that, and a lot of times you see that the Fed will often have their press conference and come up with news after the stock market has closed in the US, and it's a lot of times it happens on a Friday. And so it's not going to affect the markets too much. And a lot of these news come up on the weekend to make sure that it's not affecting the overall market too much. But of course, in crypto, you can be trading on those news events as well. So I
funny enough, sorry, go ahead, man.
No, go ahead, Dirk. Go ahead, please.
No, I just wanted to say, like, funny enough, also, like, if we look at Bitcoin, for example, so many times we have like the really large moves that are starting like on a Sunday night, for example, when the legacy markets are still closed. Bitcoin is kind of pre-running the legacy markets.
Yeah, you're right. And I did actually expect a break above 100K this weekend, especially with the news coming out here. That didn't happen, obviously, but looks like we are quite bullish. I wanted to show you something. You talked about you talked about perhaps the limitation of technical analysis, right? And you said fundamentals drive the market. Even though you have a good technical system, there might be fundamental happenings or macro events that is going to invalidate that technical setup. I think this is a really good example of that, where you had your USD coming down and hitting a high time frame support area and actually consolidating, looking like from strictly a technical perspective, this looks like a very good accumulation range. You come down, you hit the very lows of this area at the same time as, you know, the dollar currency index was trading at resistance, and you go into the 4-hour, and we print this very nice consolidation range right here. But then, of course, we had, can't remember what happened here. Yeah, that was the manufacturing. The manufacturing PMI coming out here, basically saying that parts of Europe is heading towards a recession,
which already was a surprise here. I wouldn't have expected this to have such a large impact also on euro dollar, because it was like a non-event for the past year, where everybody was just looking at what is the Fed saying about interest rates and how's the inflation reading, and maybe non-farm payrolls, because that tells us something about what the Fed is going to do.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was actually long here based on technicals and based on seasonality. The fact that Euro USD usually puts in the bottom here. And looking at this right now, I mean, it did. Looking at the seasonality of this, like the fact that the dollar tops out in December, and it's bearish throughout December, and Euro USD bottoms out. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the bottom. I mean, if we move like this, I'll go long. I'll go long again and ride that seasonality trend. But this is a really good example of people trading purely on technicals here. They will say that, oh, I don't know what happened. This setup looks all good. This is just another technical trade that hits stop loss. But then you look at the macro and you say, well, this happened because you had the manufacturing PMI data coming out. So sometimes it is important to keep your eyes on the news, of course. And one way to safeguard from this, from a technical perspective, is obviously to close positions prior to the news event.
Yeah, definitely. Although that sometimes can be hard, when you are like in a swing trade where you are very convinced of what you're doing. I think a good example is like where the swing trade you had, where you went short, or where you went long the US dollar, so short euro dollar, which I still think really it's like one of the greatest trades I've seen this year. Not only from you, but in general. That was a very genuine idea, something that never would have occurred to me. So very good example of how you find alpha in the markets. Yeah. And it played out so beautiful, so fast. And I mean, look at the volatility. I don't know.
Yeah.
It moved like from 109 down to almost 103 almost. No, we were all the way down there. It's something you don't see very often, even nowadays in Forex.
Yeah, it took 16 days, so about 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks worth of price action, and we're talking about 600 pips. It's that's quite massive. That's a 600 pip move in about 2 weeks of trading action, which is doesn't happen very often. And the idea that we had, when
I was starting Forex, this was like a move you would see within a year normally. Now you see this in 2 weeks.
It's absolutely crazy, the volatility that comes along at this time of year as well. We do see a lot of times we do see a lot of volatility around this time of year as well. I do look at this chart right here, and there is a possibility that and it's just crazy to see that around the beginning of December, we do actually the correlation here holds true quite long. So if the dollar currency index drops, is going to drop like below that level or something like that, while the S&P 500 perhaps is breaking into new all-time highs, this idea is basically invalidated, and the correlation that I was trading with the Euro USD short is no longer a tradable idea. But definitely interesting to see how it worked out. We can see on the VIX as well. We did see that move up on the VIX, and it's now being moving lower, being more stable. I read this as the market is now feeling more secure about the dollar basically, and about risk. But there is, of course, the overhead like the geopoliticals. We still have Ukraine, Russia. We had the rockets being fired, and that, if we see an acceleration in that could be problematic for the for risk. But now with dollar, losing strength here, if we see a top on the dollar and we view this breakout here as a fake out, and if we start moving lower than this, while we perhaps see the S&P 500 break into new all-time highs, I think the risk on scenario is fully on, and Bitcoin should be flying in that stage.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, if you don't mind, if you want to switch over to my chart, and we can talk a bit about seasonality, about what I think is going to happen this year, not only for Bitcoin. When I say Bitcoin, I'm obviously talking also about risk on. So we're actually seeing the S&P 500 today over 6,000 again, so 6,001 point. And I actually would like to start here going from a longer time frame to what I expect is going to happen then in the next days, in the next weeks maybe, because there's a divergence at the moment, And so I think the last time I was on here, I probably talked about this too. This is like my go-to chart. I know you have this chart on now very often as well when you like to talk about Bitcoin, because it really, in a nutshell, displays everything that you need to know about the cyclical nature of Bitcoin. When I say cyclical nature, I mean something like this, which is always amazing. When I take this this little Excel chart and show it to somebody who's like who maybe is a little bit into stocks or into trading or investing, so not just saving on their saving account, but and knows a little bit, and I show them this and I ask them like, so what would you do now? Usually the answer is always, well, like after 3 years, I would always sell Bitcoin, and then I would wait a year and then buy Bitcoin again. So up to this day, I don't know any other asset that behaves like this. And we are talking now with Bitcoin about an asset that is going to flip the likes of maybe gold in the not too distant future, when we're approaching 10 trillion in market cap. Pardon me.
Yeah,
I think it is
insane.
So we always have 3 years of good performing markets. We have 1 year of a bear market. Now, some people, when I show them this chart, not the chart, this metric, say like, yeah, but you see like the performance is slowing down. In the beginning, we had years like here in 2013, where we had 5,500% or 1,300%. Now we only have 155% or 131%. So it's like, going to zero, basically, the performance. It's kind of true, but of course, in an asset that has like a total market cap of, let's say, 10 million US dollar, like Bitcoin used to have back in the days, it's easier to go to a 100 million, which is a 10x, than it is to go from 1 trillion, where we used to trade, to 10 trillion, where we would have hit gold then, or overtake gold from a market cap. So you cannot kind of expect these 10x, 50x kind of things from Bitcoin anymore within a time period of 1 year. Nonetheless, this still holds up to time. So even if we close now at 98,000, we can still expect to have a solid year 2025. I'm going to give you my my price target for 2025 here, of course, as well. And it's still by any means a really good asset to invest in. And I mean, for me personally, I just took some profits. Some of those Bitcoins I purchased at, bless you, Alex, I purchased at 9K. So on these, even I had a 10x, when I sold some of my bags, I think it was like 1.5 weeks ago at around 93,000 US dollars. But more on that later. Why did I sell now? What do I expect like short term to happen? Let's have a look here, really long term, the picture. And this is basically expressed in a chart. So this little Excel chart here expressed in a price chart. with a so-called logarithmic regression. By the way, this indicator, Bitcoin logarithmic regression, you can find for free also on TradingView. I made this available for free there, so feel free to put it on a chart. Just remember, if you go to your chart settings here for Bitcoin, set your scale to logarithmic. Thus the name, Bitcoin logarithmic regression, and not Bitcoin
wait a minute.
regular
Is
regression.
the one I have on? Is that from you? The one I have on my chart?
That is from me. Yeah. It is.
Wow,
yeah.
That's yours. Okay.
Yeah,
nice.
It's not originally
Amazing.
mine. There was somebody else who had this on TradingView, but somehow that person took it down. So I decided to code it and put it online again. Because
okay, I'm gonna get the link to that. Sorry if I'm interrupting, but I just want to tell you guys in the comments. I'm gonna get the link to that. I will link it in the comments. I will add it to the description. If you're into Bitcoin long-term investing, you need to have this indicator. I'm sure you'll show why it's so powerful.
Yeah, I think everybody, with a set of eyes probably can see why it's so powerful. But let me explain a little bit. It consists of three green lines here, which basically is the so-called fair price channel, where Bitcoin spends most of its time. And then there are a couple of events. In a bear market, Bitcoin will usually drop all the way to somewhere between the middle green line and the lower green line. As you can see here, during COVID, we dropped under the green channel. We also did this here in November of 2022, where we had, FTX going down. So if you have like special events, and this is another good example of fundamentals outweighing anything you can read from price action or technical indicators long term, you can have prices like exaggerating to the downside. You can have, of course, prices also exaggerating to the upside. So what we'll usually see is, like in a time span of around 310 days, or let's say, put it like this, 180 days to 310 days after each halving, that Bitcoin will enter a so-called frenzy market zone. What is a frenzy market? Well, according to this chart, this is when Bitcoin goes over this green over this green channel, and eventually starts topping out at the upper red channel here. So that was the case here after 2016, after the halving. That took 312 days to break out. After 2020, it only took 180 days to break out. So what I did actually already a while ago, so this is not a new chart, this is one I've been using now, I think for 2 years already, and talking about, is I said, we should see an event like this where Bitcoin goes into this frenzy phase of a breakout over this green channel somewhere between the beginning of November 2024 and mid of February 2024. Now we've seen already, of course, like Bitcoin going to almost 100,000. What is interesting here is that this frenzy phase of Bitcoin actually starts with Bitcoin breaking over 100,000. And you can see there's still quite a lot of air here. So if we would hit the upper red channel, or the lower part of the upper red channel right now, we would talk about a price of roughly 200,000 US dollars. The upper part, 260,000 US dollars. That is if Bitcoin would, top out now. And it hasn't even entered this frenzy mode. Why I'm still a little bit cautious, why I still took some profits, more on that later. But you can see by that, like, how far things still can go. And if we look like on social media, of course, you have all those people like, having the crazy price targets. I think Cathie Woods came out of the woods, so to say, say like, oh, we are going to hit 500K. There are other people talking about 1 million and so on and so forth. Be a little bit careful with this. Like, if you just want to look at a pure mathematical model, this is just a simple mathematical logarithmic regression, a formula, an algorithm. And we top out where we normally top out, which is like 12 to 18 months after the halving. We should see somewhere prices, let's say around 200 to maybe 300,000 US dollars. If we hit the upper part of a channel, it's not guaranteed that we do that. So you want to have a look also on the second metric, the MVRVZ score, which probably, Jonatan, you've talked also sometimes about here on the channel, which is an on-chain metric. And you see here, every time this one goes to 6 or above, this is pretty much also the top of a bull market. You have to take into account here so-called diminishing returns. This is what I say, like it's harder to go from 1 trillion market cap to 10 trillion than from, let's say, 10 million to 100 million. So it might be that we actually top out here somewhere at 4.5 or 5 already. This is like long-term where I really would maybe take my coins or my how to say, my chips off the table, you know, my poker winnings or my Bitcoin winnings in this case. Now this is long term. Yeah. What?
We have a comment here. You're saying like, so we have a comment here saying this is only 2 data points. This graph work from the start of the Bitcoin existence, and
of course it cannot. You know, for a logarithmic regression, you need a lot of data points. So I started using this metric. I can show you this actually around this time here. So around what was it, August of 2022. This is when I started using exactly this chart, and this has been unchanged since then. So the channel, the upper channel, the lower channel have been since then the same, unchanged. And I mean, it has worked out pretty well since then. So until it's proven otherwise, you know, I'm going to continue to use it. Yeah, please.
So one scenario here. So we had this Bitcoin cycle. Now to be sure here, this indicator is basically just all showing us what's already obvious. It's just showing us a visual representation of what's already obvious, which is the cycles of Bitcoin. We know that crypto and Bitcoin moves in cycles of 3 to 4 years, and this just makes it very easy to see. So what we're talking about here is not trading based on an indicator. It's just the indicator is just it's basically, for me at least, having this indicator on the chart is a way for to show the audience that how simple it is to trade Bitcoin long term. Basically, buy green, sell red.
I mean, a logarithmic regression is nothing else than a mathematical concept to explain things that rise very quickly in price and then start flattening out a little bit, which is the case so far for Bitcoin. This is why I said, like, it was fast to get from 100,000 to $1 million in market cap to 10 million to 100 million, even to 1 trillion. But eventually things will flat out because there's not endless money in the world that can flood into this. And I know there are like people saying, you know, if just 50% of real estate investments go into Bitcoin, Bitcoin is going to be trading at 50 million. Well, guess what? That's not what's going to happen, you know. Of course, Bitcoin is somewhat a black hole sucking in like market cap from other investments. And yeah, we have like the money printers going all over the world. So there's new money coming in. And $1 million today is not the same like $1 million in 10 years, of course. But still, it's just a model to explain the rising price of Bitcoin over time. And so far, it passes the test of time, in my opinion, over and over again. All you need for that, of course, is a little bit of patience. All you need for this is to not go crazy, and when we hit like the lower band or something, you know, go all in with 100x leverage on a perpetual futures account where your broker is ripping you off in overnight financing fees or something like this. I'm talking here really about spot trade where you buy every now and then, you know, whenever you have a little bit of money left, every week, every month. I mean, you put it somewhere in a cold storage wallet. And when the time is ripe, then when you see like, oh, now we are reaching the upper bands, or you have made money that's, I don't know, maybe life-changing for you, or that helps you to fulfill a dream, or whatever your goal is, you know, with trading and investing, when you cash out.
That's super important as well, because it was funny because me and Dirk, you and I were talking about this earlier, the fact that, you know, when I was first getting into trading and I was trading futures, I was so leveraged up. I actually was losing so much money just for the pure fact that I was leveraged high and my stops were so tight. And now I've totally stopped futures trading. I had a little bit of a dabble here and there, but majority of my trading now is position trading on spot. And it can be the difference between you actually making money or you just blowing everything on leverage trading, and leverage trading on futures as well, especially on day trading. It's difficult. It's much more difficult than something like Forex, in my opinion. So
can we just I want to put out this scenario here. So we have sorry. So I always want to put out a scenario here. So right now we're looking at Bitcoin. We're looking at the. By the way, before I continue with that point, the dollar is dropping. We have it's 230 right now. We have the markets opening. We have the dollar absolutely dumping completely. And we have your USD is moving to the upside, starting to potentially reclaim lost support, as well as a very, very strong move to the upside on GBP CAD. So it looks like the market is now buying back basically what we've sold, what we lost last week. And this might be the change in the overall macroeconomics that we're looking for. So in case there's no increased tension with the geopolitical situations, I think that we'll see a strong risk on push to the upside, maybe starting today. And I believe that would be the start of a move to the upside on Bitcoin. We're not seeing that right now, though. We're not seeing that right now. Okay,
well,
so
we have to be fair. No, Bitcoin has also been front running that a little bit. No. The S&P 500.
It has, but I have to bring up my chart here, like the blue line here. The blue line is 100K. This is we got close.
I think some futures definitely already hit it on perpetual futures. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, there was like one future contract who hit like 100.5K or something.
I feel sorry for the guy that went long on that.
At least you can probably get like an achievement unlocked in Afterlife for that.
Oh god.
So let me paint the scenario here. So what we're doing here is we're watching the long-term Bitcoin logarithmic regression chart right here, and this is what the current state of the Bitcoin cycle. But I don't believe that Bitcoin has experienced something as massive as the US adopting Bitcoin, as like going out and saying that it's an actual currency, actually putting in regulations to help the development of the future of crypto, and potentially even adding it to the strategic reserve, and now also for the first time in the history of US creating a specific role for crypto. This is new. This is completely new. And then of course we have BlackRock, spot ETF. So my question is, what's the sound? But that got to be you, Alex. You're doing something with the microphone. That got to be you. Oh, okay, never mind. So what if it breaks into a new cycle, a super cycle, a move that takes us beyond the upper border of this? What's the likelihood of something like that happening?
I really don't think we should even look at it. We just trade what we see, and at the moment we see just keep doing it until it says to do otherwise. I think in 2021 we had a clear indication of distribution happening on Bitcoin, and a clear blow off top that actually happened, and all the oscillators said so as well. The moment, if you look on the MACD and the oscillators on the weekly time frame, we are go on Bitcoin. So until anything changes, I really don't think we should even look at or even talk about super cycles or anything like that. Just trade what we see as we do on any other type of trade. It doesn't matter if this is now on a weekly or a monthly. We've got to trade it the same we would trade maybe on a 15-minute or an hour. The only thing I would say is, like, if you are looking for passive DCA investment for the long term, like you would do in the S&P, then stop looking at your chart. Just don't look at the chart at all.
It's
But
also like it's the same like when you try to speculate on a black swan event, you know, on something like, oh, there's like a World War III coming around the corner or another pandemic or whatever. I mean, these events are for a reason called black swan because nobody can predict them. You know, they happen. Fukushima, for example, was something that affected me a lot in my position taking back then for my employer. But you cannot account for those. You know, you're not going to make a forecasting model and think about what to invest in and suddenly have a brilliant idea in your mind. Oh, probably a nuclear power plant is going to be flooded by a tsunami somewhere in Japan, or there's a pandemic coming or whatever. These eventually will happen, but they cannot be timed. This is why all those doom and gloom analysts out there, for example, Harry S. Dent, you know, they always sell good stories, but they are hardly ever right. But when they are right, of course, they get all the attention. Every like 20 or 25 years, they have like a year of brilliance where they forecasted something correct. And I think the same is true for like the upside potential. If we have now what Jonatan called a super cycle, where we see like, wow, the USA is delivering immediately. They are putting insane amounts of money of Bitcoin on the federal budget, you know, on their Federal Reserve, and so Bitcoin goes to 500K or $1 million even in 2025 or 2026. This is something we cannot forecast. If you can if you can hold on to that, well, congratulations, first of all. But I think it's the same with any trend following, trend forecasting strategy you are trading. If you can capture like 40 to 70% of a trade, you're already in the top 5% of traders or investors, in my opinion. Nobody can forecast the absolute bottom. Nobody can forecast the absolute top. This is like winning the lottery. You know, this is like at the moment here in Europe, we have like the Euro jackpot that is at 120 million, which you can win if you guess 6 numbers plus 2 super numbers correctly. The odds like of that doing are like 1 to 140 million, I think. And it's pretty much the same here in trying to forecast the exact top of 2025 or 2026.
Yeah,
what would be a couple of get out signs for what would be an exit plan for you, Dirk?
Well, the exit plan for me is pretty simple. I sold some now already, and I can talk about this later because I can see us for the moment overheating a bit. Other than that, my exit sign is we reach the upper band of a logarithmic regression or somewhere close there. You don't necessarily need to wait like until it really hits it. The lower part of a red channel, that is. You don't need to sell everything at once there. You can DCA out there also over weeks or even, well, maybe not months, maybe do it over weeks there. Or we have something like the MVRV score going above 5 or even above 6. There are some other great risk metrics, for example, from Into the Cryptoverse, which I haven't prepared here today, which are very good in forecasting also when there is, I'm not saying the top is reached, but there is a more potential downside risk than upside potential at the moment. So a lot of simple indicators. And I think if you use something here like the logarithmic regression, or even if you don't trust that, use the MVRV score, because this is on-chain metrics, this is going to help you tremendously. And even, like I said, if you just are able to capture 75 or 70% of the whole range Bitcoin has within 4 years, it's very hard to not earn money then.
You said that you wanted to talk about, you know, you sold some of your positions and you're thinking that we might get a pullback. Maybe I want to hear more about that.
Yeah, so this is based on a couple of metrics here, and this is pure technical analysis in this case, paired with a little bit of gut feeling I get from when I look at social media, for example, especially Twitter. And what I like to look at in trending crypto markets, that is at least, are two things. First of all, this blue line here, which is the 8 weeks moving average. So it's a daily chart you see here, but the moving average are on a weekly basis. 8 weeks moving average, and this so-called bull market support bands, which is the red line and the yellow line here. Also very simple. Yellow line is a 20 weeks simple moving average. The red line is a 21-week exponential moving average, and these are called the so-called bull market support bands. And what we see is, and this is actually something that's, in my opinion, true for any markets you are trading, when price deviates a long way from certain moving averages, you eventually see the price snapping back. It's like a rubber band. You are kind of, pulling, and eventually will snap back. And it can snap back as actually two ways. You can either see the price going down all the way to, for example, here the 8 weeks moving average, or price stalling and going sideways until the moving averages catch up. Nobody can, of course, say like when the exact moment for that is, but we can, in my opinion, find some indications that can help us timing wise. And one metric here for me is like, how far has the price deviated from the 8 weeks moving average? And we saw the last time, for example, here when we had our pre-halving all-time high in Bitcoin in March, mid-March 2024, that Bitcoin was trading 28% higher than its 8-week moving average. We had here last Sunday, when I updated this, Bitcoin trading 25% higher than its moving average. So we are, in my opinion, very close to where the rubber band can potentially stretch. And I wouldn't be surprised really to see something like this, to see a move down maybe, to, hold on a second, to something, not immediately, but potentially to something like 84 or even 80,000 US dollar to kind of reset the market. This doesn't mean, that the bull market is like completely off, because if we look here, what happened after before we entered this frenzy zone, we saw after 2021, we especially saw here after 2016 also that the market can be very, very volatile. In 2016, we went to 1,150 US dollars just to drop back to 780 US dollars within really just 2 weeks. And who says something like this cannot happen today? And this, in my opinion, actually would be healthy, because it would kind of reset the markets. Right now, when you look at Twitter, you have so many people, like that are crazy. Like everybody is bullish. Like of course, the accounts like talking about Bitcoin, they're all like, oh, Trump is doing this. This is happening in the USA. This is bullish for Bitcoin. This is bullish for Bitcoin. It reminds me of the situation we had in 2021, where suddenly everybody on Twitter had those laser eyes. And this was very close to the top. Then Elon Musk back then came along and said like, oh, Tesla's not going to accept Bitcoin anymore. We're going to sell all of our Bitcoin, which was the first top of 2021. Then we went down by, I think, 30% or 35%, came up for a second top that was close to the first top. And this was the all-time top. Who says something like this cannot happen today? So if you're a swing trade, if you're a long-term investor, it really doesn't matter. Like Alex said, when you're DCAing into Bitcoin, you really don't care about what the price is at the moment. But if you're thinking of, I want to build up a swing trading position, I want to make some money off it the next 2 weeks, I think it's the risk of going long at the moment, short term, is higher than the potential return you can make with this. Mm-hmm. I could be totally wrong. We could very quickly go over 100 and then to 110. I'd be more than happy to see something like this. But for me, from a swing trader perspective, it's not a trade I would take at the moment.
Yeah, I can see Bitcoin as well, on the daily with all the momentum oscillators. This last leg up, just to get to from just 10,000, a volume of just $10,000, it's taken only a few days, and all the momentum is starting to come out of it. So we're waiting for that retracement continuation, but that retracement still hasn't come. So these moves right here, a friend of mine was asking me which coins that I should buy. Probably you don't really want to be buying right now. Once we have a nice retracement on Bitcoin that gets to a really nice macro area of support, then go and start attacking the altcoins and getting into positions when people are really scared. Those people that are getting in right now are going to be underwater when they realize that they've got in at the top, and then they're going to get out while Bitcoin then goes into profits again. So it's the same story.
We are not used to that, like an asset can swing by 20% within just a matter of days, and they're going to get scared. And I remember one of the last times a couple of months ago, I was with you guys on a live stream. I said, like, when I have people calling me and asking me about should they buy Bitcoin now that normally never would touch Bitcoin, this is for me a strong sign, to become very, very cautious. And this is actually what is happening right now. I have people calling me, like my mother, for example, asking me about Bitcoin, who is like the typical person that has her money on a saving account for 2% per year.
Yeah, I had my mother asking me about Bitcoin as well, and I kind of, I definitely start feeling feeling that as well, that we're probably overextended to the upside, and we're in for a correction to kind of stabilize the overall sentiment. And I think it's important to remember here that we're trading at $97,000 per Bitcoin, almost $98,000 per Bitcoin. If we were having this conversation this summer, we would not be talking about $98,000 per Bitcoin as something completely normal. But now, all of a sudden, just after a couple of weeks being up at these levels, or a couple of days even, we think about this as the new normal. The market and the market participants, they adapt very, very quickly. So if we get a drop down to, let's say, 70,000, there's going to be massive panic. But 70,000 or even 75 or 80,000 is still above the levels that we would never want to buy Bitcoin a couple of months ago. Speaking of that, someone's looking at the Bitcoin market right now. We have people calling us asking, when should we buy? So what do we say? Like, when should we buy? When should you enter Bitcoin?
I do this exact thing. I go through my portfolio. I look which coins are my best coins, and I go, well, this is the ones you pick. Solana.
Pump your bags.
Yeah.
No, but come on. The serious. It sounds a bit stupid, but the serious thing is to say, hey, we've been telling you since 2022 in November, and there's live stream evidence of Jonatan and me where we were trading at $16,500 US. I remember this very well. At the time, I was in Singapore. We did our weekly live stream there for another institution, not to mention here. And I remember you saying, like, it doesn't really matter if you buy now or at 20 or 25,000 US dollar. My target is 100,000 US dollars. And I would bet my right arm on it, and this is my dominating arm, that nobody listened to us then. Yeah. Back then. But now they're all coming, saying like, oh, should we buy now? And this is very typical. And this shouldn't, I'm not saying, to this, please don't misunderstand me to make anybody feel bad. I want you to notice that this is market psychology. And this is exactly what, I don't know who was it, said, you have to buy when there's blood on the street, when the fundamentals are still intact. And back then, Bitcoin was doing exactly the same it does now, printing a block every 10 minutes in the largest decentralized network in the world. So nothing fundamentally has changed. Yes, just your perception has changed. Because now
we had this,
so you want it too.
We had that exact conversation, I remember, at the bottom. And I remember, us saying, we said basically, no one wants to buy Bitcoin here, and that's why we're buying. Like, no one wants to buy Bitcoin, so we're going to start buying Bitcoin here. And that was the literal bottom. Now we're talking about a complete flip in sentiment. Everyone is asking, where can I buy Bitcoin? At what levels can I be buying Bitcoin? Everyone wants to get piece of the Bitcoin action. So that means that we're getting close to the top, at least a local top. Now, I do believe, I do agree with you that the targets of, anywhere between 150 and 250,000 per Bitcoin is still on the table, but we're talking about maybe somewhere between 6 and 8 months. Maybe even the end of next year, which means a whole 12 months before we hit that target. I believe though that from if I can pull up my chart here, what I'm from calculating the average days it takes for Bitcoin to top out after halving, we reach the end of August. So around August, September next year, I do believe that we might have a top of this cycle, and that also is in line with the fact that Trump is getting into office on the 20th of January. That's the inauguration date right there. So from inauguration, Trump basically has 217 days from getting into office to basically disappoint people, and that's what I think will happen.
If you quickly change back to my chart here again, this is very much in line with what we can expect for the stock markets, for example, also 1 year after a new president is elected. Like I did the comparison here. What happened after Barack Obama, this is the blue chart here, was elected. So I'm talking about the date of election, beginning of November, not when they actually take the Oval Office, the first term of Donald Trump and Joe Biden last time. And in all cases, it doesn't matter, if it was a Republican or Democrat, we had always 1 to 1.3 years of good rising markets until things went a little bit to the downside. And so we can probably expect this again this time. And this is, very much in line with what Jonatan just said. August, it doesn't really matter if it's the top August, it's the top November or something, but the expectation with volatility, of course, there are going to be some up and downs. We might see another prosperous, 9 to 12 months maybe now. And then then we're going to see things topping out. We're going to see the S&P 500 topping out maybe. Will go down then by, let's say, 20%. And if the S&P 500 goes down by 20% and the correlation between the S&P 500 and Bitcoin is intact again, we are going to see Bitcoin going down by 60 to 80%, like it usually does, because there's a huge correlation between Bitcoin and the S&P 500. So it all makes sense until the models break, basically. But since the model hasn't broken, I'm going to play by the model.
So I'm going to throw out 2 questions. Okay, this is to both of you, right? So 2 questions, and I know that a lot of people are wanting to ask this. First of all, when, like we have to give a price, we have to give a level. So you're forced to buy Bitcoin. When are you buying Bitcoin? At what levels are you buying Bitcoin within this trend? And secondly, do we buy Bitcoin or do we buy altcoins, or do we have a combination of both?
Yeah.
I was going to wait for you, Dirk.
Okay. Well, the old question, when is altcoin season starting, basically? But in a nutshell, let me put it like this. If you don't have any Bitcoin and your plan is, or let's say you don't have any crypto and your plan is, I want to accumulate Bitcoin long term. So I want to hold it over the next 4 to 10 years to 12 years maybe, because I think, it's going up exponentially and I want to use that money in the future, to give it to my children, to buy a house, to do whatever you want to do with it. Then you should buy Bitcoin whenever you have some spare money, maybe on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, or whenever you have something left. And in the beginning, you shouldn't even look at the price. you don't care about the price. You're not trying to time the markets until you have a decent stash that maybe is life-saving for you. As I said earlier, if you're more into short-term positioning, I personally see the downside risk short-term higher than the upside potential. I think it's more likely that we go down 10 or 20% in Bitcoin at the moment than going up another 10 or 20%. Now, I could be very wrong with, in my opinion. First of all, because I don't swing trade that much. And second of all, once a market hits like kind of a frenzy phase, things can move very quickly to the upside. We've seen that, going all the way since we broke to a new all-time high at 74,000. Things were very quickly up to 98,000 US dollars. There was not much breath to take. In terms of altcoins versus Bitcoin, I honestly speaking have learned my lesson of investing in altcoins, because during my first cycle, so 2017, I was chasing the idea, like so many others, of finding the new Bitcoin. And the new Bitcoin for me, because I couldn't believe, Bitcoin is trading at back then 4,000 and 5,000 US dollars. This is crazy. It has come from under $1 US, from a cent. This is insane. It cannot go any higher. So I'm going to look for altcoins where I can still get very quickly those 10x, 100x, and so on. And for me, that coin was back then called Electronium. And I invested about 45,000 euro in that coin. And it went all the way to zero. I think I changed it then eventually to Bitcoin when it was like worth around 2,000 or 3,000 euro. So that was my lesson learned, that, there is no second Bitcoin. So if you're in for the long-term ride, you don't buy any altcoins. And I know this is hard to believe. People say, yeah, but in a bull run, Ethereum is always outperforming Bitcoin. We have meme coins going up. We have the likes of Solana, who maybe is flipping Ethereum, the cycle. We don't know. But I think it's not a safe bet, because remember, always return to the fundamentals. And the fundamentals are Bitcoin is the largest decentralized network in the world. And in fact, it's so large that no government without like going bankrupt nowadays, not even the United States of America, not even China, could do a 51% attack on this without completely destroying the economy. So why should I opt in for the second best? That being said, of course, if we continue this bull cycle, we are eventually going to have an altcoin season where all those people that are doing the same mistake that I did during my first cycle are doing these mistakes again, thinking like, I can pick the next Bitcoin, I can flip a quick meme coin where I can earn my 10x or 20x or 100x. But between you and me, I still have to find within my circle of colleagues, within my network, somebody who did this successfully, who was able to pick a meme coin on altcoin and was able to hold on to it for 100x or 1000x. And, we've heard all those stories about when you bought like 100 US dollars of Shiba Inu at this date, a year later, you would have 100 million, but you're not going to hold on to this. Let's be honest. Once that is worth like $500 or $1,000, you're going to sell it. And for a good reason, because every sane person would do that. So everything apart from buying Bitcoin, in my opinion, is a gamble.
Yeah, especially when you talk about long term. Like long term, it's definitely going to be Bitcoin. If you're going to be started, if you're going to trade altcoins, you have to be quite sophisticated in knowing the crypto market. You have to be sophisticated when it comes to technical analysis and understand the altcoin windows. Like right now, for example, we are seeing an altcoin window. How long is this current altcoin window going to be open? I don't know, maybe just today, maybe in a couple of days, maybe a week. What I've seen though is when I started trading in 17, we had altcoin seasons. Now we have altcoin window. We had altcoin seasons where altcoins could be running for 3 or 4 months. But now we have altcoin windows where we have altcoin moves that happen within the span of a couple of days or a couple of weeks. But then, of course, so I do believe that if you are looking at Bitcoin and you're looking at it as an expensive asset that You're thinking that it's so expensive, it's better to look for something cheaper. The prices that the asset is having isn't really the most important focus. What you want to be looking at is you want to look at the risk to reward ratio. You want to apply that technical analysis, and you want to be looking at the risk to reward. You want to be looking at where is the closest support in the high time frames, what's the closest resistance. And looking at Bitcoin, now of course we are trading very high up, and but it still has upside potential. Now you can be looking at an altcoin that is trading at the very bottom, and you see that to the top you'll have like a 100% move to the upside, but there's no guarantee that it will ever go up. So if you're going to be investing in altcoins, I would at least say spread out your investment over the course of many altcoins. Hopefully one of them will start moving. That's basically.
And this is really, like you said, this is like for long-term investing. If you're talking about day trading or something, it's completely different. Like for example, there's an altcoin called Popcat, which has like crazy intraday volatility. This is one I like to day trade, not because it's an altcoin, it's because it's an asset with a decent amount of liquidity that the market cannot be manipulated so easily by, let's say, whale orders or somebody coming in and buying or selling crazy amounts of Popcat, just because I see here this one has an average volatility of 5% to the upside and downside. When it builds a trend, it builds a solid trend. So this one is, I'm not saying easy to trade intraday, but attractive to trade intraday. Not easy because I told this Alex this morning, I got a bloody nose on that one actually this morning and lost a decent amount of money also. So no guarantees, man.
Mm-hmm. I actually took a look at Electronium, and I see that it's down 99.7% currently. What I also saw, what I also see though is we had a very interesting setup on that one with when we had the top in the. Like it really did put in a massive move, and we actually looked at Electronium back in 2020, and I had a setup going on, and I have to show you the graph here because this is actually the drawing from. I haven't looked at this in years, but this is from 2020 when you told me this exact story, and I went like, well, wait a minute, I went to the Electronium chart, and I'm like, wait a minute, it's actually inside the reload zone in here. Imagine if we can like reclaim the upper part of the reload zone here. And of course, what happened when Bitcoin started moving, and this is one of those examples where like this product was just dead at this point, just absolutely dead, but it's still trading and it's still moving. And the moves that we got is just, I mean, look at this. This is insane from that level. So I mean, you picked the right altcoin, you'll be making money even on something that's just dead. The product is bankrupt, doesn't exist, but it's still tradable.
But you gotta see that also, like what is the daily volume? We are probably talking about here on this exchange $10,000 TIFA in volume, here 50,000, which means the price you are seeing up there is not a price you are able to realize.
No, but look at this though. If this is what happened in 2020, 2021. Now let's look at where Electronium is currently. But this is the future of the altcoins, right? So it's currently down 99.7%.
That's a pattern that you
strong
see.
Buy. Strong buy. It's in the reload.
The majority of crypto looks like that. The majority of coins. I remember Sand. I was like looking at Sand, thinking that was going to be bigger one.
Good example.
And that also just dying project seemed to be really come back from the dead, actually, by the looks of it. But it's
it's funny. We talk about how Sand is one of those products that just died, and if we look at the chart, then it died, but it's up almost 300%.
Like I don't even
you could see like the cogwheels in his head going around. Like, oh my god, I still could have that much money.
I looked at Alex's camera. I'm like, I wonder what he's thinking now. No, but this is just absolutely insane. I mean, it's just crazy. So this product as well, like you look at from, I mean, look at this. This is just absolutely insane. Looking at, from the from the very top down here, we're talking about 97% move to the downside. And then all of a sudden it pumps 300% just because, there's an altcoin window. It's just, it's crazy. But there are one altcoin that I actually do like fundamentally, and that is Chainlink, and that's one of the only ones that I really think is, well, actually two. That's Chainlink, and then
Solana, then.
I don't believe very much in
Solana's very good.
Solana, if I'm going to be honest.
Like I said this morning, I see potential of Solana flipping Ethereum actually.
Exactly. This is why we like having Dirk on. This is exactly.
It doesn't mean I'm buying it.
But why? Okay. So here you see a clear difference between Sand and Solana. Obviously, like this is. I don't care. Like maybe strong products. I don't know. But looking at the chart.
So sorry, I need to be off for 5 minutes. The Mega Man.
Sure. No worries. So this is. Come on, man. I'm impressed. Well, obviously Solana is doing good. LinkChain though, haven't really. So this is the trade I'm currently in on LinkChain. Guys, let me know in the comments. Do you want to know which altcoins I'm in? If you do want to know which altcoins I'm in, let me know in the comments, and I will show you all the dirty little altcoins that I'm currently holding. I don't know which half of them are, but we'll take a look. But what I like is I really like no. Henrik says no. Oh, okay. I'm going to show you anyway.
We don't want to see it.
So Link is one that I'm in right now. I really like Link. I like the fact that I've been accumulating this for a while. So I really like the structure that we had. We had this is on a weekly, had the breakout right here, came down, hit that breakout area, nice wick on that weekly candle. This is where I started accumulating Link. When we had that breakout and that weekly close is when I started buying more. And then when we had on the daily, we can see that we have a accumulation range here on the daily. Then it broke above that and retested that level. And when it broke this level, I added my final part to the Link bag. And this is actually a product that I believe is strong fundamentally. Another one that I'm holding long term is BNB. So let's look at that one. Let's pull up BNB USDT. This is one I've been holding for quite a long time. And as you can see, it's a very strong one. And I'm looking for this to break into new all-time highs. Those are the ones that I actually think are somewhat good from a crypto fundamental perspective. And now let's talk about shitcoins for a minute. Now I am long on Ethereum as well. I'm also long AVAX. I do like AVAX. The setup here on AVAX. Basically, this is a this is exactly what Link is doing, right? If you add the reload zone here, you'll see that it's a very similar structure to the Link. You have that accumulation zone here, retest of the accumulation here is the basically the bottom where Bitcoin bottomed out as well, I believe. And then you have a weekly breakout out of that reload zone. So I'm looking for AVAX to perhaps come up and test the $100 area. It's currently trading at around 44. So that's AVAX. And then another one I'm long is STRK, which I believe is perhaps Stark, which is this one right here. Don't ask me what this is. I don't know what this is, but I like what I'm seeing here. So we have a break out of the accumulation area right here. And this is more of a gamble, right? Because I believe that this is one of those altcoins that can just absolutely go crazy. So I'm looking for a move up to the previous area up here.
Some of these picks, man. So this is an interesting chart.
Yeah. I mean, this is I mean, scam pumps the hardest. That's crypto. Like this is it. Oh, then we have Near as well. We got Near. I like Near as well from a fundamental perspective.
I like Near as well. Yeah.
So same shot as similar to AVAX and Link. Looking for this to run up into the short reload zone right here, hitting the tops from the previous bull market. What else do we have? Oh, Phil is
what was that one you were showing just now that was like breaking so nicely out of the zone STR or what was it called?
STRK. I don't know what it is, but I went on my exchange and then I saw it's like
Starknet or something like this.
Yeah. It had like, I think it had like a fire emoji next to it and it said hot. And I'm like, yep, I'm getting into that one. So I looked
because the chart really looked nice. I have to agree with you.
It does, like
with one eye when I came back. With one eye.
I mean, it does look interesting because it's a very this is obviously accumulation here. It's a fairly new got listed beginning of this year, so it has strong potential. I don't have a TP set for this one, but I will of course secure the position here, and we're talking about more than doubling the position, which is insane, but that's what you get from the altcoin market. The one that
probably
is
like $1 million long on that one, yeah?
Not really. It's a rather small bag.
The one that is I think it's ING Injective. I think it's called.
Yeah, that one is good. That's a gaming product, right? ENG, right?
ING.
Yeah.
ING. ING. That's an engine. ING. Inject.
ING.
Yeah. INJ. Sorry. G. INJ. Yeah. So that on Binance. Also really nice on the weekly.
This looks good.
Continuation.
This looks very good
nice.
Because
structurally it's very, very, very nice.
Yeah. But and this is a very good comment, by the way. The altcoins, they move together.
Yeah,
Most of these altcoins that had the same. So it's basically like all that I'm showing you here is just it's the same setup. It's just that one of these might just pump a little bit more than the other. Like now, for example, I'm up 4% on Ethereum. I'm up 9% on Near, but I'm up almost 30% on Filecoin. Another one I want to show you guys is OP. And I'm also long from this.
I didn't know you have so many altcoins that you are trading, man.
Yeah, I have a few more that I'm like a bit embarrassed
dirty
to
secrets
show.
coming to the surface now here live.
Well, I gotta be honest though, like most of my money was made trading altcoins in 2017. Like, and if I'm gonna be honest, a lot of money was made investing in ICOs. Like,
that was a crazy time. No, all the ICOs back then. Yeah,
dude, I remember calling up every member of my family saying like, if you want to get rich, you get into ICOs right now. You go and you visit, like you go look at EM Balina, you download that spreadsheet. I don't care what you do. You invest at least, $500 or $1,000 into a couple of ICOs. And that's what I did. And some of them made me 100 times profit, 200 times profit in as long as it, as soon as they got listed on exchanges, 100x, 200x sold, made a bunch of money. That was insane.
And it's so funny, like the ICO craze, somehow I could understand back then and participated in it obviously as well, because it reminded me a lot of a stock IPO. When when companies come onto the public, the trading market. What went completely by me is the NFT craze, for example, the last cycle.
Yeah, that one, yeah, exactly. But I think one of the reasons why I got into the ICO run was because I was new and I didn't know better, But this time around with the NFTs, I felt that it's too good to be true, which I definitely got left out of with NFTs. The punch that we had with NFTs, I was completely sidelined with that. To be fair, if the ICO craze would come now, I would probably not be in it, because nowadays I know better. And the thing is, a lot of people that make a lot of money in crypto are the ones that don't really know what they're doing. They're just buying a couple of altcoins and holding them, and then all of a sudden they go crazy and they sell,
Yeah, I agree.
How's Pepe doing, Alex?
I don't know. Pepe's not. I'm not actually in Pepe anymore.
Oh, that's too bad.
Oh wow,
It
it's
is.
been
It is
pumping
too bad.
so bad
Pepe
as
got
well. Yeah,
listed.
I haven't been looking at that for a while now.
Pepe got listed
Wow.
on Coinbase.
Oh, that's right.
To 200%, but you can't. You know, it's the same thing. You can't hold everything, and when you are big, then I did 6x on Pepe, and I decided that was enough. Maybe, but that was back. That was over a year ago now when I first got into Pepe. So it was just like, you're up 6x. Yeah, it's hard looking at that chart right now, to be honest, but there you go.
Yeah, but I mean, it also depends, like, how much money did you invest in something like this. If you invest, like, let's say like 10K and you're up 6x, it's something else to cash out 60K than like you invest $100 and you cash out $600. You know, I mean, 60K. We're talking about life-changing money for many people around the world already.
Yeah, agreed. But I think, as we've all said, all of these altcoins are still going to be going. You just got to get out while you still can, relatively up in the cycle. While Bitcoin's still pumping and while I think places, trades are going up. If you've got a target, don't move the target. Just probably get out at the target where you say you want to get out, because the amount of times that I've had a target on a trade and then push my take profit up, very, very, very rarely it actually continued going up, and it actually would come back down to bite you afterwards. So if you have got a plan, stick with your plan. And to be honest, everybody's gone through cycles in crypto where you've made triple, 3-4 times your amount of money and then ridden it back all the way back down just because they're trying to hold on to some kind of some type of dream or anything. So
that's a great Twitter account, by the way, called Coin Fashions, which I subscribe to, which tells like stories like this. You like people
Coin Confessions.
Yeah,
Coin
Confessions.
Yeah,
that's right.
This one is full of stories, you know, like people who said, like, you know, I went all the way up to $1 million just to go all the way down to owning $100 and stuff like this, you know. And it's really, it shows you a lot about the psychology and the expectation of people and what not to do. Very rarely that there's a positive story on them, whether they are true or not, you know. But it shows you a lot how people approach trading and investing that shouldn't be trading and investing at all without doing the homework first.
Yeah, a friend of mine read all of the, I'm not gonna, you know, all of the less of the altcoins, you know, all of those really, 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 really bad altcoins. He rid his account up to 250 grand, rid it all the way back down to where he was at, which was a couple of grand, 10 grand, I think it was. So from 10 grand to 250, all the way back down. And that comes back to the same feeling. If it's already coming down and your mind is tunnel visioned in, oh my God, my account was at X, Y, and Z, it's going to go back up. That sometimes is the place where you have to put the hard stop loss and just close everything. Because
I'm gonna start building a short position here on gold. Yes, Hamed, we're looking at gold right now. So the idea with gold here is starting to play out here. We looked at if we go back to let's see if I can put all the old drawings on here. You can kind of see my previous ideas here on gold. We broke the parabolic curve right here, and we have sort of like I guess Victor would call this sort of a the Quasimodo. It's basically what it is. It's a head and shoulders ish pattern, but it's asymmetrical head and shoulders. We come up, we're getting rejected here, rejected at that support here, and now we're obviously seeing the market reacting to whatever's going on in the macro. And I think from a technical perspective, this is a very good area to start building shorts on gold. One of the things though that I I don't really like here is the fact that I've been doing some research here over the weekend, and I've been reading a couple of reports from bigger institutions and hedge funds, and they all say that they're very bullish on gold. So, and I don't like, usually when I read that, their long term projections, they're actually quite good. And I want to make sure that I'm trying not to trade against the like Goldman and Sachs, for example, or so trading against the hedge funds that have historically made profits year in and year out is long term, I believe, a losing game. And they're but now maybe the projections would change with the new Treasury secretary, but
we've got to look where we're at as well. If you go onto a weekly, we just had a massive push on a weekly for gold last week, an engulfing candle. It's the start of this week. We still have, another 4 days to go, and a candle needs to come before it goes up. It needs to come down. So that's all I would say, is that it is still bullish on a weekly time frame. On a weekly, we hit support at a 21 EMA. So, and you never know what's going to happen. So that's why I just think just trading what you see in all of these. I'm sorry to kind of give the other aspect of what we read in these and these outlooks from strategists, from banks and stuff. We don't know when they've been positioned in their trades. They could have been positioned in their trades months and months and months before they decided that they're going to put out a thing to all of their customers saying they're bullish gold.
Yeah, but this the reports that I'm getting here is not for the public, right? So there's a difference between these reports and the reports that come out to the public. Because I know what you're saying. A lot of these big players, they're building positions, and then they come out and say, "Oh, by the way, we're super bullish on gold," without telling you that they've been building the position since 2 months ago. But you might be right. You might be right. And if I would go with my technicals, and just like Henrique and someone else was saying, like we had Saul on last Wednesday, and we talked about this exact scenario right here, where we looked at this as basically the level where we were looking for a rejection, and we're getting that sharp right now, very, very, very big, maybe almost a bit too much, but what I'm seeing here from a weekly perspective is I'm looking to swing trade long, swing trade short gold to the downside, obviously, because short to the downside. But this level right here, we break that level, and maybe we can start thinking about positions. But yeah, if you're not sure,
are you still bullish for the US dollar though at the moment? You think like euro dollar is still going lower, but why should gold go lower if US dollar is not going stronger anymore?
That's one of the reasons why I'm quite hesitant on this trade, because I feel like it doesn't make a lot of sense from a fundamental perspective. I think from a
like just for the audience, what I think is like a lot of the price going back in gold is like to be explained what we saw happening with the US dollar becoming stronger after the election of Donald Trump. Just, the US dollar becoming stronger, meaning you have to pay less US dollar per ounce of gold. So I think in order to take this trade, you also need, I'm coming from a macro perspective, not a technical, like what's going to happen, of course, in the next 7, 8, or 14 days now. But in order to be longer term bearish on gold, I would need to be bullish on the US dollar. And I wonder if this has changed, with what we saw happening over the weekend now.
Well, yeah, I think the reason why, gold is dumping now, I believe the reason why gold is dumping now is because the moves that we saw to the upside, that's an inflation hedge, okay? Because the market were talking a lot about how Trump were going to be inflationary to the US dollar with the tariffs, right? And basically driving up inflation. Now, the new Secretary Treasury Bennett comes in, and he's more pro bonds, right? And he's saying that Trump is absolutely not going to be inflationary for the dollar, and he's going to do everything he can to not drive inflation up with the help of maybe focusing a little bit more on bonds than tariffs, which I believe this is the move that we're getting down on gold, because gold is traditionally a good hedge against inflation. And I believe this was the hedge against inflation trade. And we're seeing that retrace right now, because now the scenario is flipped, basically. We're no longer, like, now the inflationary risk to the dollar seems to be not as high. And if you look at the dollar currency index, we're seeing we had a move above the range highs right now. If we drop lower on gold here, I mean, of course, if we find support on gold and we continue higher, we'll probably see Euro USD move lower, and then I will start playing out that short idea on Euro USD again. But there could be the scenario that gold, that dollar is actually topping out here, and that would play very nicely with the seasonality chart as well. I have to pull that up because I think it's very interesting right now. So let me just log in here.
Seasonality on gold, meaning like the demand for the holidays coming from countries like India, you know, where you traditionally give gold as a gift, or what?
No, I mean seasonality on the dollar. I think I said gold. I meant the dollar. So if we look at, give me a second here. We can look at. I'm gonna share that one. So if we go to this one here, we see that this is the seasonality of Euro USD. So going back 24 years, we see on the bottom for Euro USD is being put in between the beginning of November. Basically, November is when the bottom is being put in for USD, which coincides exactly with where we are right now at these low levels. If we go to the dollar's currency index, we see that this scenario plays out well as well, where we have December being very bearish. So for the last 53 years, we see January being very bullish, December being very, very bearish on the whole. So the dollar usually tops out in December, and this also aligns with what traders call the Santa rally, where you see a lot of times the equity markets will rally into Christmas, basically. And that's going back to the
interesting,
and going back to the S&P 500.
So sorry, it's a bit like window dressing, like maybe a lot of investment funds want to get rid of cash US dollar to invest last minute in stocks, because it kind of looks bad, if you have a large cash position by the end of the year, and then beginning of January they kind of reverse the position again.
Yeah, it's also a lot of if you think from a business perspective, you might want to be selling some positions at the end of the year for tax reasons as well. So there's going to be a lot of. If you
sell them, you get US dollar. No? That would be a demand for US dollar.
Yeah, that's true. But looking at the seasonality index, there is obviously some truth to this. The fact that the dollar is
no, you're onto something there. Nice.
But I think there's definitely an increased demand for if you go to if I switch on to the if we look at the S&P 500, we can first look at the Dow Jones, the US 30 here. What we're seeing is they break into new all-time highs. Looking at the S&P, and this is beautiful retest right there. So the equity market is absolutely loving the changes that we had over the weekend. Looking at the S&P 500,
indices are they really love the levels. They're very, very direct. Obviously, they're very directional, but I don't trade them myself. But I can see on like macro levels of support and resistance, they really hold.
Yeah, just adding some moving averages really here and going out to the weekly. This is looking at the S&P 500. It's just, I think on the daily, it's just super clear. So this is the 20, the 50, and the 100 DMA. Look at how it's just riding the wave on the 20. From, if you, a simple strategy for the S&P 500 is just being long when it's about a 20 EMA on a daily, and shorting when it loses to 50, something like that. But then you don't want to short this. Like long term, you don't want to short the S&P 500. But you can see that, it reclaimed the 20 EMA right here, and then basically from the fact that when the 20 crossed about the 50 down to here, I mean, it's a 170 days of just pure bull market, So yeah, the equities are really very directional. Very directional. Let's see what Bitcoin is doing though, because we are obviously some strong risk on moves right here. Bitcoin is it's
dumping a bit.
Yeah, it's not doing much, not doing much.
I just hate looking at Bitcoin or any kind of crypto on lower time frames. Anything under 4 hour for me is just pointless at the moment.
I'll be back in just a minute.
It's because it's just so much noise in, especially if we're looking to swing trade and stuff like that. The changes in character on 1 hour are the types of things that get people out of the positions too early, because they're looking at those small moves and they're already up 30-40%, and those little moves now they don't want to give all of that money back, so then they decide, okay, I'm going to close out the position, because they're looking on time frames not in line with the overall reason they're in that trade. And it's happened to me personally so many different times. So it's really something, if you're looking to position trade and really run this thing up, you really need to stay on daily, weekly, 4 hour maximum if you're looking to get into positions. But
yeah,
other than that,
I think you also cannot have like your normal risk metrics, like on the average Forex trade, for example, you would say like, if I'm like down 1% or something like this, my stop loss is like 1% lower or wherever, 0.5% on euro dollar. You cannot do this on Bitcoin, because the swings are so crazy. And I think a lot of people get burned because they cannot adapt to this kind of volatility. They only see the chance of it. If I invest now and it goes like 5% higher within the next 2 hours, I'm going to earn X, but they don't see the downside risk. And when they do like 10X, 20X trades and get flushed out of the market almost immediately. And that happens so fast in crypto. And for me, always a bit worrisome, because I think like from a day traders or even swing traders perspective, crypto is like the most difficult market that you can trade. In hindsight, of course, it always looks very obvious, but it's very difficult because you have to nail your risk management. And when people say like, I'm only trading like with 10X or 20X or 50X, like somebody told me yesterday, I'm like, oh my God, it's like, this is crazy. The market just needs to move like 2% against you, which is like a half-hour move, and you are out of a market. You have blown your account.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why the best thing to do, I think you've given really great advice, is to not use leverage in this market. Just use spot, and you can be a very, 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 very successful trader if you're just using spot.
Absolutely, yeah.
But these are really nice levels for Bitcoin.
If you're going to use leverage, 2 or 3 times leverage. No, nothing more than that.
And even that in a move like what we saw, if you were swing trading short with that would have blown your account already almost. Going from 73 to almost 100 now.
What is that?
I like the idea of leverage tokens, though. I wish there was some easy way of. The problem with leverage tokens is you don't own Bitcoin. You don't own Bitcoin, and the beauty of Bitcoin is the fact that you can buy a spot Bitcoin, move it into your hardware wallet, and then you have full control over it, and you own every aspect of it, and no one will ever be able to take it away from you. And of course, by doing that, you are limited in terms of how much money you can make. You can't really leverage that, right? But I like the idea of having leverage tokens as well, where you won't be stopped out, if you know what I mean. Like if you're trading on leverage, you're trading the futures market, a 10% move to the downside, being 10 times leverage, you'll lose the full position. So
Solana just looks like a younger brother of Bitcoin, if I'm honest. It literally just if you just put
sorry that I'm laughing, man. Sorry.
It is if you have a look at it. Let's get the two charts together.
No, it's actually, you're right. I cannot believe I'm telling this. This is why I say I think
that is actually both the same chart.
Eventually, is going to flip Bitcoin because Solana is doing what Ethereum used
Bitcoin,
to do always.
like
copy what Bitcoin is doing.
So yeah, look, Solana Bitcoin chart on the left,
wow.
Solana chart on the right.
Can you look at the breakout? Like when did Bitcoin break out, and when did they break out at the same time, same day?
You would say the breakout of this range. I would say a confirmation of the breakout would have been on November the 24th and November the 24th. So yeah,
but that's on the weekly. Maybe you can look at. I would like to know when. I got on more of an hourly basis when Solana broke out and when because
hourly basis. So you've got on the 24th of November 2024 at 7 p.m.
What I mean is, I would like. Okay, so Solana broke out. Solana broke out basically November the 6th, the 6th of November. While Bitcoin broke out on the 6th of November, of course. Yeah, they basically broke out at the same time.
You didn't find the Holy Grail.
I did not.
There is another one that Jordan from Traderlicious was talking about. Coffee.
Has he gotten into crypto now also?
No, Jordan's still saying that he hates crypto and that he basically doesn't believe in it, and he's happy that he still, even though Bitcoin has outperformed every single asset under the sun, he still does not believe, and he's happy that he doesn't believe in it. So I told him we're going to get him on the show, and we're going to talk about it because somebody needs to sort that lad out.
I do follow him on the morning market updates. By the way, that's a great show for those of you who have not seen that. Traderlicious is doing the market wake up or market something like that. Really good show in the morning. I like that one, and I do have a feeling. That there's something happening with him and crypto. There's a shift coming. Maybe it's going to be at the top. Probably going to be at the top, but who knows? You're watching. Okay, you watch Platinum and you're watching coffee. Like I want to show you something insane. Okay, I want to show you something absolutely insane. Let's switch over to my screen here for a minute. Can you guys guess what this is?
That looks like Bitcoin's correlation with orange juice.
I think this is palladium or something.
So this is the blue chart here, the blue line. That's concentrated orange juice futures.
Oh, okay? Wow, Alex, man.
Well, I've shown him this one. Obviously, I've showed him this show before.
You have not shown me, but the emoji of the orange kind of gave it away.
Oh, I didn't see that. The obvious. Oh my god.
So this is okay. So this is.
I actually knew what that chart was without even looking at the orange.
So this is orange juice versus the orange coin. Orange juice since 2001 is up over 350%. And actually, during the time that Bitcoin has had 2 bull runs and 1 bear market, orange juice futures is basically just going straight up, and it's almost outperforming Bitcoin, which is absolutely insane. I don't know, that's crazy to me. That's
I
absolutely
want to
insane.
formulate a trading strategy out of this, actually.
Yeah, like, is there a
trading
correlation
strategy
between
is a
orange
long-term
juice and
trading strategy, and it's like the more popular Donald Trump becomes, the more orange assets are going to outperform the rest of the markets.
so there? Listen. There's a clear correlation between orange. Okay, you have orange juice, probably liked by the orange man, pumping the orange coin. Okay, there must be some type of orange index tracking this type of.
But jokes set aside now, why is orange juice pumping so much?
Well,
like
I
the
have
harvest
stopped
going
my
down?
consumption of orange juice. There isn't enough of it, so
I
Well,
also,
well,
the
you
older
know,
I get,
so-
the less I can digest it and get like reflux from it and stuff like this. So it cannot be me.
So okay, so there's you need oranges to make orange juice. That I've figured that out, and the percentage of orange that is being used for orange juice is about 80%. So about 80% of the world's oranges are being used for orange juice. Now, if the orange doesn't do well, there's a bad harvest or whatever, obviously prices are going to go up on orange juice, and obviously there's a shortage of supply of oranges here.
what
This is crazy.
country? What country does the majority amount of orange juice come from?
Well, I know that it's not Sweden. That's
It's also not Germany, by the way.
that is I'm certain of.
I'm pretty sure it must be the USA.
Can someone in the chat Google that? Can someone in the chat check that up? What country produces the most oranges? Because okay, we need to know what country. We need to know what currency they have, and when Greece? No way, it's Greece. No, Spain.
Greece is oil. Spain produces a lot of oranges, I think.
Spain, is it Spain? Brazil. I think like Latin America probably.
Brazil.
Florida, actually.
I think it's
I said
Brazil.
the USA, yeah.
Yeah, Brazil is the
Brazil?
leading orange producer in the world, producing around 30% of the world's output.
Is it the
that's
same for
about
coffee? Do they
30%.
produce do they produce coffee as well? Because look at the price of coffee. This is also quite amazing. Look at that. This is the weekly chart of coffee. I got
my daily cup of coffee is a luxury now.
dude.
So
I got an email. I got an email from my coffee supplier, and I got that email on the 18th of November, like here. So, and they told me that they have to increase prices, which is funny because it's breaking above that high. Coffee, raw coffee breaks above the high, and then I get an email saying that they have to increase the price of coffee. So I actually looked up how much I'm paying for that coffee, and on a kilo, price, it's it's crazy. Like the prices of
how
coffee.
did they word it? Like something like a surprise? This year's reverse Black Friday?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No. They basically said they have to increase prices. Simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, understandably, it's like, and I mean, you can see here also in parts the cause of inflation, and because I'm pretty sure what we see here for coffee and oranges probably is also true for many other products that are consumed,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, so I think it's we're looking at orange juice, we're looking at coffee. I think it's time to wrap up the live stream here, going from a Forex live trading session, going from Bitcoin to orange juice. think it's we're running out of ideas today. Let's just hope that the S&P 500 index is breaking out here. So for today we're not having a giveaway. We're instead doing the Black Friday raffle. So everyone that is buying an account with the 5ers during this promotion is being entered into a raffle. And for those of you who are coming into the live stream or did not was not in the live stream in the beginning, this is the Black Friday promotion. Is basically we're introducing a 10K high stakes account, and there's a discount on that 10K high stakes account. We have a special price of $68. The regular price is $78. So if you're looking to get into the high stakes account program, this is a great opportunity to do so. And everyone that buys an account with the 5ers during this promotion will be entered into a raffle. And the raffle has 50 prizes in total. We have 10 TradingView subscriptions. We have 10 Trader Sync subscriptions. We have hub credits for 10 people. We have also merchandise, the 5ers merchandise for 10 people, and also 10 Amazon gift cards. And the raffle will be drawn on Tuesday, December the 3rd. If you have any questions on the current Black Friday promotion that we're running right now, make sure that you write the questions up, come back in tomorrow's live stream, and we can cover all the questions. And also we're increasing the account purchase limit, which means that in the past you can only have 3. We had a limit of 3 accounts, but during this promotion we are increasing that to 4 accounts. All right, that's it for today. Alex has a really good comment here on the orange juice crisis, and I would say that it's potentially a crisis. Oh, it's the floods in Spain as well. That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. My father lives over in Spain, and he's been sending me videos, and it's everything is just flooded. And I'm talking about all of the streets up, all the cars, over the tops of cars. So it is really global warming, you know. What can you do?
Yeah,
we should all stop using vehicles and go fully vegan.
I don't own a car. I come by bicycle to my office every day. No kidding.
There you go. Right. Anyway,
I live in the middle of nowhere. If I need a vehicle, I can't get around. But with a bike, I do have a bike though. All right, guys, that's it for today's live stream. Hope to see you all tomorrow. If you have any questions on the Black Friday promotion, make sure that you save them for tomorrow's live stream. Or if you're watching the replay, just comment and ask in the comments, and we'll make sure to go through all the comments as well. All right, guys, take care and see you all tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
I'm waiting for Alex. That's right.
Right.
There we go.
Yeah.
Bye.
Hi guys, so thank you very much for watching the video. Now make sure you like and subscribe, and most of all go into the YouTube and check our other content that we provide here at the 5ers. We'll see you in the next one.